Hey guys, David here and welcome to the Fit Pro Daily. Today we have another massive interview for you. But before we dive into that, if you're brand new to the channel, welcome and feel free to click that big subscribe button below. Last week's interview was with Shane Beard and he went into great detail at how he's working with over, I think it's 1,500 clients combined in both of his gyms, and that's him going from a boot camp owner to now operating two massive gyms. Today we have another Shane. This time it's Shane Nugent, and he's going to explain and go through in detail how you kind of get started online, how to then look after your clients online, and then really how to really scale your online business. Anyway, enough of me talking. Like I said, if you're brand new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe below, and let's dive straight into this week's guest interview. Okay, so we are live. Welcome, guys. Today we have Shane Nugent. I know this week it was Shane Beard, and then today we've got the other Shane Nugent.
Save the best to last. That's what you've done.
And it's been weird because when I was talking about with Shane Beard the other day, literally I've known both of you almost the same length of time. We've known each other for like such a long time when we started on this marketing program. So before we dive into anything specific, let's introduce you to the people watching or listening who don't actually know who Shane Nugent is. So tell us a little bit more maybe about how you got started in the industry.
Yeah, definitely. So as David said, we basically met because we had a similar business mentor at the time. And that, I suppose that's the first point in time really where I took a step into the industry. I was doing bits and pieces. I hired a nutritionist whilst I had a job, and the job paid for my master's degree and stuff like that. So I was sort of dabbling in a few bits and pieces, but like I can confidently say like we robustly went into creating a business and stuff was when, we were working with the same business coach basically at that time. It's nearly 5 years ago now, isn't it? Jesus Christ. So, so that's how I got into the industry. I literally left my job on stage at an event, handed my notice in, which is pretty funny stuff looking back. That's where we've been to today. So one of the big things for us is making sure that it's boring as anything for clients. I know clients don't really care what qualifications you've got. I dare say everybody that's watching this, probably 99% of people have never even been asked like what qualifications you've got. But for us, that's like a massive thing for us. So, because we're nutritionists, it's an incredibly, scientific topic. It's important that you understand the science in depth, which is like an academic endeavor. So, for example, I studied with the International Olympic Committee in sports nutrition, then did my master's degree, and that's in and around the time where I left my job. Once I'd finished paying for those, basically, set up the company, and then now I'm doing a PhD scholarship at the moment as well. So the same goes for our team. So our nutrition team has qualifications coming out their ears. One of the lads has got 2 postgraduate diplomas in, human nutrition, and one with the IOC like I have. And then the other one's got a master's degree and works with Man City, and, the top quality lads in what they do too. So for us, it's like, the big thing for us is just making sure that we can get the quality science and share that with as many people as physically possible. So again, we do all this nutrition qualifications, so people basically don't have to. You just use our knowledge basically. You don't have to do more courses and that sort of things. That's our angle, I suppose, and how we got into the industry and blah blah blah. So
tell me about the taking the leap then, because I know there's going to be people watching this and listening to this who, like, now they're probably still in that full-time job and they've dabbled, they've maybe done a few boot camps, so they might have the odd one-to-one clients on the side, or stuck in lockdown now, maybe they're still working or they've been furloughed and they're just testing the waters. How do you know when the right time is to actually really make the jump? Is an equation, or do you just feel like now is the right time to go for it?
I think with stuff like that, I don't think there's ever a right time. It's like when me and Jade were saying, at some point we said, should we have a kid? And it's like, when's the best time to have a baby then? When do the stars align for that? And it's like, it's a similar principle. There is no perfect time, I don't think. I'm not saying for 1 minute. I know we've discussed this before in depth previously, but it's like, I'm not saying for 1 minute everybody just has to jump off the edge of the cliff, everybody, and just leave their job overnight and just do what I did. That's suitable for some people, and you should bloody do that because that's the way you should be doing it. Or there's other people that actually it makes more sense for whatever reason to transition yourself out of your current employment and do it gradually, step by step, and however you do that is again up to you. So you can do it in a phased method, or you can do it in a just like go, head first like a bull in a china shop, just go, let's do this. Like I said, you can do it a bit more progressive. So you have to assess which person you are in your situation, because I don't know your situation. I'm not going to say everybody should just like jump in, because that's probably not responsible advice for everybody. So for me, it definitely 100% was the right thing to do. And the reason for me is that why that was appropriate for me is because I know that I find the easiest way to do everything. So I need pressure. I need a deadline. And if there's no deadline there, I'll just go, okay, well, we'll just take it steady then during this period of time. That's why I literally left my job overnight, because it's like, okay, you've got your month's notice period and then probably another month's worth of finances to buffer paying for your house before you lose it and stuff. It's like, okay, you've got a big deadline now, get cracking. So I need that. If I didn't have that deadline of losing my house and not making enough money by that date, I'd still be in a job now. I know I would, because I'd just be like, well, we don't need to grow the company, do we? We've got enough, to get where I'm coming from. So that's how I work. But with other people might be completely different. And you are actually very motivated without any big deadlines like me. It might be something else that's massively motivating you. So it's a difficult question to answer in conclusion. It's like you've just got to work out what's the best method for you as a human being, as a person. Like, do you need to just like jump off the cliff and figure out your parachute on the way down? Or are you one of these people that actually it's probably going to take a bit longer, but you'll still get to the bottom of the cliff, but you'll just have to do it some other way and take a steady step-by-step route.
So let's go from you just taken that step, and then you were basically just doing like one-to-one clients, weren't you?
That's right.
How
yeah.
did you then make that transition from giving all your attention to I think you had like 5 or 6 clients at one point, to now literally work with thousands of people every month? What is the difference from going one to one to
again,
max numbers?
The same principle as leaving the job. It's like a steep learning curve. Every time I did something to go, oh shit, I'm in a position now where I have to learn how to do this, otherwise we get cancellations or something bad will happen or whatever. So again, I started working one-to-one, as you said, so doing pretty much what everybody. I know I'm a nutritionist, but it's the same principle. I did one-to-one sessions with people. People paid me for a 3-month program, a 6-month program, whatever it is. They paid up front for that. We had payment plans and stuff like that. So I got up to about 40 different clients and did what everybody in this industry does. And you're like pulling your hair out. I've got sales to do, marketing to do, finance stuff and accounts to do. I've got to see my bloody family, for Christ's sake. That's the whole point of the company. Oh, by the way, you've got 40 one-to-one clients to jump on a call to and make sure every single one of them gets a call and what they need and they're progressing. And it's like you're doing 10 jobs, and nothing short. So at that stage, I was like, okay, maybe financially we're okay, but it's not astronomical. We're not safe. We're doing okay. We can pay everything, but we're not like, if I was ill for a month, we wouldn't be okay. So it was still reliant on me. Also not seeing my family anywhere near as much as I wanted to, which again, like I said, was the whole point of setting up the business. So something had to change. And then just in honesty, it wasn't like a calculated decision. By chance, one of the PTs that we still work with today, they just reached out and they literally just said, could you do me a favor? Would you be happy to sit in our Facebook group and just act as our like company nutrition expert and just answer questions, maybe host a Q&A or something every once a week or once a month or whatever, and we'll trial it and see how it goes. And it's ridiculous, really, because that's literally the conversation that set up everything we do today as a company. Because obviously, firstly, I had 40 clients. I think they had about 50, 60 clients. So I was like, right, so you're asking me to double my workload and I'm already pulling my hair out. So you just got to get creative. When you have to solve a problem, you start thinking, well, okay, so, Virgin Active works with tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of people. I work with 40. Surely working with 100 is not that big a step. What are they doing that I don't? Like, there's people already do this. So how are they doing it? And then you just work it out, and you have you have better systems in place, better processes in the company. And then a few years down the line, I started hiring a team and stuff like that. So, the biggest thing is just understanding that you can't do everything in your company. You have to have help or not externally, but in some other way that isn't reliant on you as a human being personally, because, I can't help 1,000 people, but the systems that we create can. So whether it's a step-by-step module-based program that your clients all have to go through as a compulsory element first before they start getting interactive support, maybe that's a good way to go, because that teaches the client what they need to do. They construct their own meal plans and things like that. That's the way we do things. They still actually get interactive support throughout anyway, but I'm just obviously giving you ideas here. And then once they get through that program, actually 90%, literally probably 80-90% of the questions that they would have had are now answered, because the modules have given them the answers. So the other 10-20% that just need to top up from there, brilliant, we'll help you with your more in-depth questions from there. So we did that for a while, and that worked fantastically well, and we were helping hundreds of clients, managing them very well. Anything that was like a commonly asked question, it was like, we need to systemize this. So let's say a client asks, like, how do you work out your protein intakes? You can either do that for them, or you can teach them how to do it themselves. It might take a little bit more effort and a little bit more time to teach them how to do it themselves, but once you've taught them, they never ask that question ever again, because you're not doing it for them, if that makes sense. They're doing it themselves. They're becoming more empowered to make their own decisions going forward. So that's how we worked with hundreds of people. And then even then you get to a breaking point where you're like, we're back to square one. Okay, we're working with hundreds of people, but I'm still, answering hundreds of questions every week individually. Even that 10% needs answering. So then you start thinking, okay, so if we go on a bit of a growth phase now, and also simultaneously hire a nutritionist to work on our team, they can take care of the interactive support whilst I work on growing the company and do something else. So they learn my systems and how I do things, and how it's worked really well up to date, and we go from there. So as I say, we have 5 different people on the team now. Not all. We have 2 expert nutritionists, but Grant, you're our IT guy, Aaron, our sales guy. We've got an admin assistant. We've got 2 nutritionists, and then me as well. So everybody's got their own roles. I can't help thousands of people without them. It's impossible. It's the same. It's the same with any massive company. How does Amazon, does Jeff Bezos jump in the car and do the deliveries? Like, obviously not. So how does he deliver to millions of people across the world? Has systems in place and also staff in place to take care of that as well.
So that's really interesting about the system stuff, because a lot of people are doing that thing. Clients ask them a question, they give one answer to that one person, and then when somebody else answers, they've got to give that same answer to that same person. So like building that course out, and I know Shane offers this type of stuff, already done for you courses, where you just plug this course into your business. So when somebody comes on board, they do maybe initial 6 or 12 week nutrition course, step by step they follow. And then all the questions that they had have been asked. So the systems is like massively key. So then you started moving on to working on the business. People that don't understand or not sure what that means, what is the difference between working in the business and then working on the business then?
Absolutely. So, okay. So I think to get a bit of perspective on the definitions of those, just take a step back a bit and just think, it depends what you want to achieve first and foremost. So if you want to be the go-to local PT and you absolutely love being a personal trainer, and all you want to do is you've got a facility that can hold, let's say, 80 people or something, or 80 clients or whatever, you just want to max that out and have a good life, but you're the guy that does all the work and runs the company, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. With me, what we want to do is we want to help like hundreds of thousands. Hopefully we'll get another call in like 5 years and we'll be helping like our first, 500,000 people or something. That's absolutely what we want to do. So because of that, you have to look at the business and all the different bottlenecks that are associated with the business as well. So what I mean by that is like if 100 people tomorrow asked you, can you give me help? Can you offer that? Or would your company literally implode because you can't cope with that workload? If the answer is yes, fantastic. If the answer is no, which probably 95% of people, the answer is no, you need to have a better system in place because, let's say you get in touch with Dave and Dave does an incredible set of ads. It's just like you've hit the jackpot and you get 100 applications. And then I've seen this, like, numerous applications, shall we say, more than people can cope with, and they've got a big backlog. You're leaving money on the table right there. How do you cope with that stuff? How can your business cope? And it's, so that's an example, but it's the same with you as well. So if I'm doing this sales, so I'm getting on the sales calls, that takes up my time, in literally the time in the weekly calendar. If I'm doing the marketing myself, brilliant, that takes time up. Okay, if I've got to do some service work as well. I mean, I've got to deliver service to our paying clients. So now I've got to put my nutritionist hat on and deliver that and do calls and info and challenges and blah, 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 whatever it is. It's just not going to happen. I'm a massive bottleneck in the company unless you're happy to just reach that threshold and not really wanting to take any further steps from there. That's fine. So just with that bit of perspective, it's really important to have that bit because you need to know what you're wanting to achieve. You can't just, there's pros and cons to having a team and stuff like that. It's really good for some things, but it's really crap for other things. It's really good just being a sole trader and maxing out and just staying there, and really crap for other things as well. So for example, if you were ill, that's a big problem because, who's going to run the sessions if you're doing everything? Again, I'm not saying that's a problem that you definitely need to solve. I'm just saying if you're happy with that, then cool. For me, I want to be able to run the company and make sure that it runs itself, and I do everything that I do all day, every day is stuff that I want to do, that I choose to do, that I love doing, and that I'm absolutely outstanding and excellent at. Anything that I'm less than excellent and outstanding at, somebody else should be able to do that instead of me because I'm not excellent at it. And that therefore brings up that area of the company up to an exceptional standard. So Aaron, my brother, for example, he does the sales for the company. He's outstanding at sales. I mean, I'm really good at sales. I've built the company up to this point, but Aaron has been taken on board. He takes, control of that now because he's way better than I'll ever be. So, he was literally like number one in a multi-billion pound delivery company, basically, for the UK during a period of time. It was like a quarter or something. He was number one out of every salesperson in the UK. So just to give you that, that's mind-blowingly good at sales, like as in staggering. He brought millions of pounds on for that company. So that's why I've said, get yourself over here. You're working for me now, and that sort of thing. And again, it's the reason. It's because you've got to have that ego thing taken away. You just think, I'm not the best at sales. Is there anybody that's even better than me, like exceptional at that can take care of that? And the same with nutrition. Am I the best nutritionist in the whole world? Probably not. Can we have some exceptional nutritionists and whole nutrition team to be able to do that, and so on and so forth? So, there's no bottlenecks now. Everybody's got their own tasks. If you get 100 leads in, brilliant. Aaron's got loads of time to get on 100 calls. Dave, we've just had 150 new leads. Fantastic. Like, Aaron's got on them all. It's like, and I've not done anything. It's not taking any time up from me. All I do is work on the stuff I'm good at, like the marketing, spreading our message, and so on and so forth.
And that's like the perfect example of working in the business, the person that does everything, and you can't really go any further to working on the business, where you start issuing tasks to other people so your business can actually grow. So let's talk about finances and pay scales then, because a lot of people struggle with what price to put out, especially now in this lockdown. This type of thing's never happened before, and people are creating brand new programs out of thin air, and they're just picking numbers, maybe something that they've seen somebody else choose or stuff like that. And we've had a chat a number of times that we've always thought the portal was too cheap, and we decided to make that lunge now and really increase it up. How do you decide what is a good value or price?
Is this the price point for your product or to pay your staff?
For your product.
For the product.
Yeah.
So you've got to reverse engineer it a little bit, because it's like it's a bit like a bodybuilder saying, how much protein do I need? I'll just eat loads. It's like, well, that actually that's not going to work, because having too much protein can actually take away, that can cause problems in other areas, that calories that you could have dedicated to carbohydrates or fat, for example. Too much of anything is not a good thing. So if you think of it like that, you need to reverse engineer it and calculate things. Business is all about numbers. It's not about, yes, it is about like passion and drive and like committing your life to a cause that you, and all that stuff. That's very important. But it's simultaneously, whether you like it or not, whether you're good with numbers or shit with numbers, it's a numbers game, categorical, just numbers. So if in 5-10 years time you want somebody to come and invest in your company, first thing they're going to do is go, who are you as a person? Like, no, they're not going to do that. They're going to go, okay, I don't give a shit who you are. Is this an investable thing? What's your profit margins? What's the percentage you're spending on staff? What's the percentage? Have you got enough set aside for tax? Have you paid your tax for the year on year for the blah blah blah? What's your profits? What's your dividends? Blah blah, etc. etc. You need to know that stuff. So what we do is we have to have like a break-even figure, basically. So you need to be turning over a certain amount per month to be able to pay for your staff, if you have any. Don't worry, obviously, just ignore that if you don't right now. So for your wages, well, what type of, this is probably going to be a lifestyle type of company. It's not going to be a corporation that you're creating here. It's because you want to go on holiday, or you want a better life for your wife and your kids, or your fella, or whatever. It's that, if that's the sole cause, and you've got to reverse engineer it from there. It's like, okay, I want to put £100 a month in savings away for my kids forever. Brilliant. So there's £100 a month we need. I want to spend, I don't know, £6,000 a year on holidays. Okay, that's about 500 and something a month, whatever that works out as. Our mortgage is 600 quid a month. Our cars are 300. So that's you and your personal, what you're going to pay yourself from your company. You need to know that first. So what is that figure like to have that sort of lifestyle that you want? And this, by the way, like, this isn't like a guru-y thing. It's just simple maths. Like if you want to go on holiday 5 times a year versus 1 time a year, your income is going to completely and utterly change based on that. So therefore, know that number, and you can have that life that you want, or whatever, whatever your targets are. So once you've got that number, then you take a look at the overheads for the company in general as well. So the software, the tax you need to pay, the tax you need to pay personally as well. So I'm by the way, I'm taking this from a limited company point of view, so where the company is separate and you own the company, but you're an employee within your company. But it's the same principle as if you're a sole trader as well. So you just need to know all of your overheads and just think, okay, so fantastic. So we need to earn £3,000, £4,000, £5,000 a month minimum to break even. When I say break even, that pays your wages. That's not breaking even on your, just to run the company, and you don't get a pay. You set up the company to pay you too. So that is an overhead. That is an essential thing to pay yourself. So let's say you get to £4,500, brilliant. Anything above that is just profits for the company, or whatever you want to do with that. So now you go, fantastic. So let's take a look. And there's not really any concrete right or wrong answer, but let's say £100 a month. Like, is that a reasonable thing for people to invest? There's people that are out there going, oh, we charge £5,000 a month or something. It's like, yeah, well, maybe there is a market for that, but I've not met anybody that pays £5,000 a month for a PT, that sort of thing. So maybe let's just be reasonable as well. So let's say £100 a month. Okay, so you're going to get 5,000 a month. You're going to need 50 PTs. 50 clients that are going to be needing PT support. Is that reasonable? Is that possible within the next six months, 10 months, 12 months, whatever? Again, that sounds pretty reasonable. Let's use the example we said earlier on. You've got a capacity of 80. Brilliant. Okay, so if you had 80, your capacity is 8,000 a month based on £100 a month. By the way, that could be your entry level program as well. So let's say, for example, there's is it Pareto's law or something, where like 20% of your income comes from 80%, or 80% of your income comes from 20% of your clients, basically. So actually, you could have a high level program that's maybe $299 a month or something. You're not going to get many people on that, but let's say you do get 10 people on it. Literally 10 sales, you've got £3,000 a month coming in. So that's, but that's like, let's say a really super world-class, intense one-to-one program. Fantastic. So the rest of the stuff's group-based. The pinnacle stuff is like you've got 10 spots, that's it. Like, okay, brilliant. So you know, if your capacity is 70, you could have £7,000 in recurring revenue from your group-based £100 a month program, and then 10 people at 3,000. Fantastic. So that's 10k a month that your company could potentially earn. And if you pay yourself £3,000, £4,000 a month or something or whatever, fantastic. That's it. You don't need anything more. You've got everything. But what I'm saying is, it's based on numbers. You can't just go, what's everybody charging? It's ridiculous. Well, do you live in London? Is your rent like £6,000 a month, or is your rent £600 a month for your facility? Or are you online? What software are you using? Does your software cost £500 a month or £30 a month? There's so many variables. Like, are you a single guy that literally just wants a nice car and you don't care where you live? You can live above a fish and chip shop, but you've got a nice car. That's it. Fantastic. Your overheads are going to be pretty low. If you're like me and you've got a wife and kids, we've got baby number 2 coming in about 2 months' time. We've got a whole list, like the length of this room, on cots and clothing and like new prams. We've got 2 kids, so we need a double pram now to get the. So we've got a big list of overheads. So it's like, you need, everybody's different. So, when it frustrates me when people are like, what do I charge? It's like, well, that's up to you. It's what are your numbers? What are your figures? What are your overheads? What lifestyle do you need to be living in? What does that lifestyle cost? And then that's it. That's literally how you reverse engineer it from there.
Spot on. We've got a couple of questions coming in from the portal, but before we actually...
also, I forgot people on live.
Before we actually take some of those questions and the people that are listening to the podcast,
Definitely.
Let's just clarify a few qualification needs for nutritionists. So Shane said at the start, you don't need to be a qualified nutritionist if you take someone like Shane on, where he does all the work for you. But if you're wanting to give your clients, I don't know, nutrition support in certain ways, just clarify to the people who are maybe brand new to the industry and not super sure on the nutrition qualifications needed.
Literally commented on a post today from another, he's like a CEO of like a chain of gyms, and he asked this exact question today. So this is the thing, right? So you can help people in a general way. So if somebody's, you've got to look at both sides of the spectrum, right? So if a client says, is there fiber and vitamins in an apple? It's like, are you really not allowed to say yes, that's correct? Like, is that? Of course not. You're allowed to do that. That's, nobody owns that information. That's not protected information. It's not going to kill anybody if you say yes or no either way. Obviously, the opposite side of the spectrum is, let's say, you have somebody who's obese, that has hypertension, that has type 2 diabetes, that have like a whole cocktail of tablets every day. They've been given, very, very strict healthy living and blah, blah, blah. Dietary requirements, and you're a PT that's taken them on to work with them on the fitness side of things, and they start asking you nutrition questions. You do not go anywhere near that client recommendation wise in any way, shape or form. That is not your bag. No, in any way. Whereas obviously in the middle of the spectrum, we just have this gray area, and in honesty, it's open to interpretation. So for me, meal plans is a prescriptive thing. So you're prescribing somebody. You're saying, I'm telling you to eat these foods on these days at these times over this week. You shouldn't be doing that. But what you can do is educate your client. Is, let's say, I'm really struggling to hit my protein intakes. So you can say, oh, here's a list of like the top 10 protein sources: animal-based protein top 5, plant-based protein top 5. There you go. Like, you work away. It's up to you what you pick from that list. I'm not telling you to eat anything. I'm just giving you the information for you to make your own decision on. Fantastic. You can do that, definitely. And again, I've no doubt whatsoever that's, anywhere in that middle ground, that gray area, it's going to be a bit confusing. And I've not got all the answers to every single one of those examples. You've just got to use your own interpretation, really. You just think, is it safe, your recommendation? Is it effective? And is it sustainable? That's how we base every recommendation we do. So if we have like I said, a very clinical issue, even we say no. We're experts in nutrition, but experts in our field, in what we do. If it's something that a dietitian should really be working with, we say, unfortunately, we can't give you advice on that, and that's us. Let alone a PT, on the nutrition front. So it's really important that for you, if we park the client, whether you could kill the client or not, potentially that's pretty big, but that's obvious. So let's just park that for a minute. Think about your business. Just one bit of advice could potentially lead to somebody having health problems or whatever the advice is. What impact could that have for the sake of just saying, look, guys, I'm a bit uncomfortable with this. It's out of my remit. And genuinely, clients respect you 10 times more when you say, I've helped you with this, on this. I just can't do it. I'm really sorry. You're going to have to seek, professional advice on that. Clients respect you for that because you've got integrity now.
So just let's go back to that system we talked about right at the start before we dive into these questions. Okay. You said maybe when they onboard, we can give them maybe a 6-week course. It's like they could literally reach out to you and buy that course from you. So it's almost done for you. But if they were going to create a course themselves, what information, knowledge would they be allowed to put in this course that would take them too far over the boundaries, or that they qualified just with their PT qualification?
Again, it's a really, really tricky one. I've not really advised anybody on if it's the fitness business owner or the PT themselves creating their own nutrition course. That's really tricky because it's like, you have to be prescriptive with them because they need a result. But how far into that can you go? So, like we said, if let's say how would I solve that? So you could do like a habit-based course, for example. So let's say, for example, for 6 weeks, you've just got certain targets to meet and you're not prescribing what foods to eat. You're just saying, let's say week 1, all we're going to do is work on hydration. And these are the benefits of staying hydrated, but how you keep hydrated is up to you. By the way, green tea's fine, like 1 or 2 teas of coffees throughout the day is fine. Water's obviously a really good one, blah, blah, blah. Stay away from this and maybe include a bit more of this, but it's up to you. And so hit that for week 1. Week 2 is making sure that we're going to work on the quality of your diet. So having it as micronutrient dense as possible. So hitting fiber intakes, recommended intakes from the government or whatever, making sure we're having 6, 7, 8 portions per day, which, all you have to do is like create your own little meal ideas that incorporate 2 or 3 portions in each meal. You have 3 meals a day, you've got 9, brilliant, like happy days. So week 2 is like a habit of but you're not telling them what meals to have. You're not saying you need to have so and so grams of protein and this is the meal that's going to do that for you. We can't do that if that makes sense. If you're a fit pro without any robust nutrition qualification, so you could do like a habit-based course. Definitely, that would be fine in my eyes. But again, the specifics of what exactly could be included is really open to individual interpretation and debate, and there's going to be grey areas. It's really tricky. But yeah, I probably try and get around it by doing a habit-based course rather than eat this, eat that. It's like, improve your 5 a day, improve your hydration.
Okay, so definitely the final one before we take the question.
Yeah, it's okay. Fire away.
Just for the podcast, for the people that are listening who are not part of the portal, how can people maybe find out about this course that you offer or some of the other stuff? How can they find out more about Shane Nutrition?
Yeah, definitely. So
Nugent.
Yeah. So basically, we have our free group, which is the Fit Pro Client Nutrition Mastery Group, and we've got literally just recently hit just over 1,000 different companies that are in there. So we're super proud of that little community that we've built. And there's loads of freebies and stuff. There's loads of samples of what the stuff looks like. It's all fully branded. Obviously, it's a visual thing, so you need to see that. And basically join the group and send a message to our partnership manager, Aaron. So it's Aaron SJN Nugent. And he literally just takes everything. He'll take you through, guide you through the whole process, everything that you need to know. And we need to also work out if the modules are the right thing for you as well. Maybe there's another service that we provide that would be better and more applicable and get the biggest value for you as a company on a lower impact program, like an entry level program to begin with, and then you grow a bit and then you go up to the modules. That's fine. Or vice versa. You might actually, it's way better for you because you just want everything taken care of to go for the full package and stuff like that. So we basically just need to assess you, is what I'm saying. If the modules are right for you, have a chat with Aaron. 100%. It's ARRON, by the way, not spelt double A, so that confuses people. So it's spelt the incredibly Irish way of ARRON. And yeah, so he can have a chat with you about everything that we do and what's most applicable for you going forward as a company.
Spot on. Cheers, Shane. Okay, so that was the interview with Shane Nugent. And as you can tell, just from the end bit, Shane was super passionate about his finances in that interview and not just looking after the clients. Because, like he kind of said, if your finances are not in a great position, it's going to be really hard to move your business forward. Plus, he also gives us a load of interesting tips on how to not only manage a small handful of clients, but to then how to manage a massive collective group of clients. So if you're running a massive sized business, he gave you quite a few ways, talking about systems in particular, to really help move your business forwards. So if you want to know more about Shane, do reach out to him. It's relatively easy. He did say at the end, or simply just search for SJN Nutrition. If you love that interview and you'd like to jump on and maybe become a guest for one of these guest interviews, then let me know in the comments below. Or, like I said at the start, if you're brand new to the channel, feel free to subscribe by clicking the button below. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Cheers. Thanks for watching. Now come join us inside our free Facebook group, where on a daily basis we share tons of content to help you generate leads for your fitness business.